to risk going to late game against this Kassadin. Even though it's weaker early on, they don't want to fight. KTB's late game with a Kassadin. The Annie-ban I like, because Mafa, he loves the hard engaged supports. He's more or less forced to go Leona now if you want to be this engaging part. And that's where Jree has something like a Morgana as a counter pick towards it.
So Trundle was banned out as the final ban for KT Bullets. And that Lulu, well, it was insta-locked. Is this going to be Kerp?
Could be Kerp, could also be Kevin top lane. We've seen Lulu top before. It is
in the last game?
very strong. Exactly. She's still she's a very good top laner. She's a lane bully. And also mid lane wise, of course, it's the same. Very safe, very hard to gank, and you do well the entire game. So I like this Lulu first pick. And I'm not sure if KTB actually expected it.
And what do we make of this? Because Sivir is basically the #1 pick for Korea as an AD carry, yet Europe still really hasn't picked it up.
But the thing is about Sivir, for the Korean teams, for the Chinese teams, they use it when they do the rotations. They use it to set up fights, set up picks, pick the right team fight for them. If you have something like Leona and Sivir, you speed up your team, you pop the ultimate from Leona, and you have started a fight. And there's no way to avoid it from Millenium's side. So that's why one of the reasons they absolutely love Sivir. And they love to pick her early on, together also with something like an Elise, all around, one of the best junglers onto Insec.
Well, Elise was selected for Insec, so in that jungle along with that Sivir, and currently LeBlanc is being hovered over by Millenium here.
So the LeBlanc pick again, Froggen talked about how both mid laners, they absolutely love to play it. It would mean though the Lulu pick would either go onto Jree as support, or onto the top lane on Kevin's side.
Locked in?
Locked in, so it will be LeBlanc for Kerp here. His go-to assassin. This is the one he loves to carry on, he's the one he loves to get early kills. He often builds early DFG, push out his lane, then he goes roaming and start killing people everywhere.
We'll see how that works out for him. Caitlyn also locked in there for Creaton. So definitely going to have the range advantage over Sivir, but as you mentioned, they play it very different in Korea, the Sivir.
They do play it very different. We often see them actually lane swap as well with it. But the thing here is, normally actually, you see people banning out Caitlyn when they want to early pick the Sivir, because Caitlyn is very good against her in lane. You have such a range advantage onto Caitlyn. You have so much poke you can put onto Sivir once she can't really respond to you. So we will see how the laning phase will go. If it's paired up with Lulu, that's a lot of poke onto Sivir early on. It's very hard for her to actually get in close to get the CS she wants.
Well, that Nidalee and Renekton coming out, so Ryu will be playing Nidalee in that mid, so he's going to be keeping a long distance from LeBlanc, and Renekton, well, that top laner, arguably the strongest top laner currently.
In my opinion, yeah, overall the strongest top laner. You have full lane control, you're such a lane bully. Dawn's shield nerf makes it even harder because you can't start this item against you. Well, you can, but it's worse now than it was before. So it's even harder to deal with his upfront damage early on. And then, with combined with something like an Elise, very good dive combo. If they push down Kevin to his turret, Elise comes up, they dive him, dead. There's pretty much nothing he can do against it. Nidalee pick. We actually had Millenium against Fnatic in the Super Week last week, where Peggy played the Nidalee, he went barrier, and he still actually died to Kerp. 2 or 3 times in the laning phase, or just after the laning phase, Kerp managed to kill him with the early DFG. Let's see if he can try and do the same here onto Ryu.
Well, if they go for the Kazakhs along with Sona, this is a crazy aggressive comp from Millenium. They really want to be looking for those kills because everybody is going all in here. So, Kazakhs for Araneae and Jree on that Sona.
And Kazakhs actually got nerfed in this patch. His Q damage has been slightly reduced, and also his AD ratio on his jump has been reduced by quite a lot. His ultimate though is a little bit changed. If you involve it, you're still for 1 more second, and also you can run through units, pretty much like Ghost. So in that case, he's very good at staying alive now, or better at staying alive in team fights, but he will have less upfront damage. And Kazakh's jungle, you need to have a good early game. You need to get either some good farms, some good early kills, so you can get the items you want. You want some early armor penetration, and you can then go in and start assassinating someone from the enemy team.
So what do we think? Final pick here will be the the bottom lane support. What are you going to go up against Sona? Are you going to be diving in? Are you going to go aggressive? I mean, this is Mafa we're talking about. Thresh was left open, and that is his champion.
Well, that and also Leona. But I don't think he actually felt like going Leona against Zona. Risky with a lot of poke coming in from Zona, and also if he was all-inning, Kazakhs was nearby, jump to him and kill him. It could potentially have been the tactic for Millenium if they expected the Leona pick. So instead he goes more safe, fresh, provides pretty much everything he wants. You have the Lantern to save out if Kazakhs jumps in, you have the slows, you have the good hook, you can do everything you want onto Fresh from him. So very nice lineup for KTB actually. Strong early game with Renekton, good laning phases except for Nidalee, who's slightly weaker than the rest in early on, but the rest of their lineup is very good. And also this late game scaling with Sivir, obviously with Nidalee, the spears, once you get to these poking team fights or when you poke before the team fight actually starts, very hard to deal with. That's where Millenium more or less just have to engage in. They have to just go in, make sure they don't get hit by these spears, pop in with the bonk, instant kill a target. Kha'Zix jumps in, or someone goes low, he goes in, gets the reset, he can continue jumping.
Are they going to be able to? I mean, you talked about they got on the hunt from score. He's going to be using that. Mafa can use his ultimate in full-on disengage mode, so they're going to be really hard to catch, this KT Bullets team.
And that's another reason they love Sivir, because you're so mobile with your team, you decide when you want to fight. But the lineup here from Millenium side actually is very mobile as well. You have counter engage pretty well with someone like Zona. If people jump in your face, you can ultimate them straight in the face because people don't want to group up against the Zona. Also, you have obviously the move speed buff. You had Caitlyn with her net. You have the jumps on the Blanc, jumps onto Kha'Zix, and also Lulu obviously is very, very mobile, very good at counter engaging. So both these combos can actually both start fights, but also avoid fights.
Well, we are about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited, that's for sure, because this is the first time I've ever got to commentate on the KT Bullets. They didn't make it to the World Championships, and as Quickshot pointed out earlier on, 7 times whoever's beaten them have gone on to win the tournament. Can Millenium do it?
It would be quite some pressure onto them if they actually win this game. Like everyone will expect them to win the tournament then. But Millenium as a team, as they talked about on the analyst desk, there's no pressure. They can just go in here and play more or less free because everyone is expecting KT Bullets to be the favorites and be the winners. So let's see what Millenium can actually bring out. And especially this Zona pick, I haven't seen Jree play that in forever.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are underway for Game 2. Millenium facing off against the KT Bullets as the red team. The Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. Loser will be facing Fnatic. Winner will be going up against Invictus Gaming. Who will it be? That's the question. Let's go through the comp straight away. Standard top lane, Doran's Shield versus Doran's Ring.
Doran's Shield versus Doran's Ring. Obviously, Renekton doesn't want to get poked too much by Lulu early on, and he wants to be in a position where he can actually get to Lulu, but with the Doran's Ring, we have some good wave flow onto Kevin early, and also a lot of good damage. And the thing we notice, we actually have the Spell Thief onto Zona here, so that's very good poke early on, because you have this extra ability power, and also every time you auto attack with your charges, you will get 5 gold, and also you will do extra magic damage onto them, so it's a very good starting item. It does mean, however, if Jree gets hooked, he's very, very squishy. And
we should also talk about the Ruby Gem start for Mafa, because this is something that we've started to see developing in the 4.3 patch, because that Doran's Shield was nerfed.
Doran's Shield was nerfed, and also Ruby Crystal was actually nerfed a little bit. The HP got reduced by 30, and instead now the gold cost of it is 400. Before it was 475, yeah. So you can start Ruby Crystal, 2 potions. It simply also means that when he goes back, he can either get an early Sidestone, or he can go into something like a Doran's Shield if he wants to be more tanky. But if he goes early Sidestone, he can change his trinket onto the Sweeping Lens, and he has some vision control.
And look at the map, we can see 2v1 switches here, and actually 4 members of KT Bullets moving in. Kevin's got to be careful. He doesn't get caught out, flashes away. Clever bit of play from Kevin. Didn't want to get caught by that death sentence.
Didn't want to take any chances, but it's an issue because it's 2v1. If Elise moves up to dive him later on, he won't have his flash to survive, and he will actually be forced to more or less back away from his turret. He also used his trinket ward now, so there's no extra vision for him.
Yeah, safe play there. Nevertheless, we do see Araneae countering himself. He's going to go in and steal away the blue buff from KT Bullets' jungle. We do see KT, of course, sticking around. Leopard here, it's hanging around. He's going to make sure he gets to level 2. Well, I don't think he's going to hit level 2 before he gets there. He'll be very close to it before he returns to lane.
But it's very smart to actually keep Leopard here to get some farm in the jungle, because if he goes down to bot lane, he will just be stuck at his own turret anyway, due to him waiting for Millenium to push up the wave. So very smart. If he gets early level 2 here, it will be harder to dive him, in case that's the tactic for Millenium. And meanwhile, just like we talked about in Champ Select, what they have been doing with Sivir in Korea is lane swapping. They do the same here. You don't want to risk going against this very heavy poke combo with both Zona and Caitlyn. So wisely enough, lane swap and also got the blue buff.
Well, we just saw in the previous game how hard it was for Soaz to do that lane swap, how hard it was to deal with that combo, and you can already see he's stuck on that tower. Can't go against it. The fact that he's already burnt that flash out as well means he has to be so passive right now.
And look where Elise is already. She's at the big wave. She can actually rotate up top here when the wave is getting pushed in, and they can dive him, because there is no way for him to survive this without the flash. But let's see what KTB does. And look at Kevin's position already around the turret. He knows potentially a dive could be there, so he's just backing off wisely enough.
Yeah, and you look at Araneae's position, actually, he's looking at doing similar in that bottom lane, so the counter moves is the 2 dives. However, wardless place there. Ryu getting taken very low in the mid lane by Kerp. Early aggression seemingly working in Kerp's favor.
And Kerp will have the advantage here, but Insec is actually coming in for the gank.
He's going to try and come around the side there. Kerp should be able to get away, just flashes away from that cocoon. But again, another summoner spell burn.
Yeah, 2 flashes down early on. Insec doing some work here, giving some help onto Nidalee, who needs it early on, where she is very weak. She needs some levels before she can do something. And now Araneae needs to be careful because Insec is coming in, and also Renekton is there.
Very squishy, doesn't get stunned out. That's what Leopard wanted to do there. Instead, uses those Void Spikes to get away and just pounces out of danger. So he's safe for a moment, and actually drew Insec towards him, which will slow down the counter jungling, because Insec was all over the place in the opening start of this game.
Yeah, but the rotation Insec decided to do was, first he was around the top lane in case they wanted to dive, but because Kevin was so far back, he didn't feel like offering an Araneae going on to Insec.
Going aggressive, and he's going to have the help of Kerp coming around the moment. Can they get close enough? The Dissonant comes out there, does manage to repel away, turns it back on towards Kerp. Can they get the stun down on towards him? Void Spikes come back out, and he does get healed off by Rio.
So Insec, he managed to get away, but very aggressive play from Araneae here. Instantly as he spots him, jumps onto him, wants to fight because Kerp was close to him. But again, the rotation from Insec simply meant now that the flash was burned from Kerp mid lane, and also down bot lane, Araneae couldn't dive because Insec was there. And now this top turret is already going down very early on.
Very early aggression from KT Bullets there, working out well. 5-minute turret. You see the bottom turret also going to go down, so both back and forward. Kerp, of course, with that flash burn, doesn't matter. He's got this distance. He can just burst himself away from that one. Insec is looking for kills. He's looking for that early aggression. Hasn't found it just yet.
He's actually also getting slightly out-farmed now. It doesn't mean too much here so early on, but he needs to make sure he can pick up the farm he wants, because in Masters, he's been very active ganking-wise, but often falling behind in CS because he's focusing too much on simply ganking. He wants to do something all the time.
At the moment, we do see the Wraith going in towards there. So, Millenium, will they keep pushing? Because Insec is nearby. And I think they're going to be well aware of it. They've already just pinged out towards the blue buff. They know that Insec is probably close by, so they're going to back off. Rotation's coming back in. We see Score and Mafa, they've gone back. They've purchased some items, and they are going back towards the bottom turret now, which means Kevin finally will get a bit of respite. He went for a second Doran's Ring.
And let's see now if KT Bullets want to force an early Dragon, because Renekton, he's still down in this bot lane. Sivir is running down to him, Thresh is in the mid lane, Kevin is left up in his top lane, he's far away from any dragon if it should happen. So let's see if KT Bullets want to try and set something up here, due to simply the fact that Kerp Renekton bot lane.
Would be a very early dragon, just 6 minutes in there. Araneae does get that ping ward down and spots out the trinket. The Insec just plays straight in there. It does mean he's going to pull some aggression, will jump away from that cocoon, and they want to straight away take that ping ward down. It is the dragon that KT Bullets want.
And there's full vision on Kevin, they know he's not there. Let's see if Millenium wants to try and jump in here and steal it. Would be very risky from Araneae. He's only level 4, so they actually wisely enough back away. Very good move by KT Bullets, because now Renekton can recall and return to this top lane and get some of the CS going towards his turret.
Quick early dragon objective taken for the KT Bullets, which gives them that slight gold advantage, but it's not a bad start for Millenium here. And despite the early pressure that KT Bullets have been trying to apply, Millenium have certainly kept themselves well in this game in the early phases.
Generally, it's been a very close early game here. Both junglers had the same idea at first, but then everything got swapped around. And now both supports against each other. We need to see how much Jree and Creaton can actually do to punish Sivir in this lane, how much CS they can deny her. And instantly we actually see her backing away, up to do the wolves, because they can't stay in the lane against this very poke combo from Millenium.
Yeah, and of course Araneae, he's been aggressive looking for those kills. Rio's also been taking some poke in that mid lane, but he has kept himself ahead in farm. Araneae looking to try and create something again. Rio being aggressed upon by Kerp, constantly poking him down. Araneae came in, but again, he's not able to make his presence felt yet.
He's simply not able to make any gank, but he doesn't really have to. At the moment, he can still try and farm up, get the level 6, get his stealth, and then try and set something up. But Kerp, you see him constantly going aggressive onto Rio, because he wants to try and force him out of the lane, but it's not working for him, and Insec is mid once again.
Insec comes around, and again, Kerp just dashes away from this one. Look at the top lane. Triple Doran's Ring now for Kevin. He's really struggling out, and that's always the sign of pressure on your mid lane, top lane champions.
It's actually the Source build as well, where you focus on winning the lane, you focus on winning 1 versus 1, and you might even stay split pushing later on, because you have this very lane-focused build. It will delay his key items for later on, but for now he's very, very strong, and he's very hard to kill. That's also why you see KT Bullets putting all the focus onto mid lane, making sure Nidalee can get all the farm she needs, and she's actually ahead in CS.
Well, we do see wards out towards that blue. Remember, KT Bullets, while they came and stole it, they didn't clear it out, so they won't actually have the timers on it. It was Araneae that came in there and took down the two small other lizards. But, well, Insec, he's continuing to skitter around the jungle, trying to keep his farm relevant. And again, going back towards that white, he has been farming this non-stop.
And he's actually a little bit behind in XP compared to Araneae, who, by the way, involves his E as the first thing. So he will get resets if he can pick up something in team fights. But Insec now got the level 6 he wants. Let's see what he actually decides to do, because Dragon is not up. Millenium have rotated their bot lane into this mid lane, trying to shove it down because there's no wave clear onto Nidalee in this case.
Everybody collapsing in though. Look at KT Bullets. They're ready to come in from 3 different angles. It doesn't always work out. Remember, Crescendo is not available yet for Jree. He hasn't hit level 6. And Millenium, well, they already back away. Those wards paying them dividends. They knew the vision and they did avoid the situation.
Very smart, and they didn't actually lose anything bot lane because both Sivir and Fresh were moving towards the mid lane, so they couldn't push it up, couldn't get it to the turret of Millenium. It's a good rotation, but nothing really coming from it yet. And now KT Bullets want to push out this top lane.
Kevin continued to keep on poking with that glitter lance, just caught Insec, knew he was coming in towards those bushes. This mid lane, you know, we've seen Kerp putting so much pressure continually on towards Ryu, but Ryu's still ahead in farm. Heads off, goes for the race. He's going to keep him ahead. See if it works out in terms of gold, though, and what items they head towards. At the moment, bottom lane is backing off, and that means Millenium are going to have themselves yet more time to keep farming. And Creaton, he's keeping a good advantage over score so far. Yeah,
and both teams seem to be happy going towards this mid-game. We don't see too much aggression here. The ganks have kind of stopped coming in. Both junglers have been farming. And of course the bot lane, Creaton is keeping his CS lead. And meanwhile, now that Nidalee has some levels, she can really start roaming around the map, go to raves, do them. Also wave clear easily enough if she's alone at the turret, as long as Millenium is not there with multiple people trying to hit her or hit the turret.
Well, we continue to see how this top lane pairing is going to go, because they are really going to be playing completely different roles when the team fights start. And I'm wondering, with Millenium being such effectively a single target focused team, how that's going to affect, because Renekton is going to be in their faces the entire time, and if they don't get that one single pick, which you were saying, Araneae evolving that E, he wants to get in, get out, get that kill, and quickly get out of there. If that doesn't work out for them, where are they going to go?
It's actually also the reason you see the early magic resist onto Renekton, because he doesn't want to get bursted down by LeBlanc, by Lulu, and then giving up a kill. And now Araneae going on to him.
Well, he manages to get his unseen threat proc on towards him, but he's tanking out the turret. Wild Growth is going to be used, and they really did not count that one at all. Just complete lack of focus. And the Dominus from Leopard should be enough. We did also see down this bottom lane, you can see the Exhaust was used on Jree. Jree taken low. He will get away from this one though, and now they're going to try and turn that aggression back on towards Insec. Takes a couple of tower hits. Kerp is going to keep on coming down, but I don't think he's going to get close enough.
So Araneae, he showed top, and instantly we see Insec trying something in the bottom lane. They need to be careful though, because they are rather low, and we now see Kerp coming around the corner. Can he get in for something?
Ace in the hole being blocked off by that spell shoot from Score. There goes Kerp trying to close the distance. Oh, he's caught on towards Score. That's going to get the stun down. Manages to throw the leash out once again on towards Insec. Have they got the damage for this one though? Mafa getting taken solo. Ryu's going to join the party. They do get first blood, but Kerp's in all sorts of trouble now. He gets himself away. Can he turn the favor back on towards Score? No! It's going to be 3 kills for KT Bullets. A great counterplay. And Millenium, well, they just took that one hook, line and sinker.
And absolutely perfect for KT Bullets here. They managed to delay dying to Kerp, so Nidalee could come down, join in for the fight here, and 3 kills for them. Everything they needed. Such a good move from him. And Insec, he picked up 2 kills on 2 leads, so he's gonna be very strong now. And also they got that very crucial kill onto Sivir.
And this spells danger early on for Millenium. So often their early aggression, sometimes it works, but often it gets countered and it's easily read.
And just like you talked about earlier, we actually see Leopard going on to Kevin. Let's see if he can get something.
Well, he's managed to get that Spectral Cowl onto him, so he's not fearful of Kevin's damage anymore. Of course, he's only got that Sorcerer's Boots and 3 Doran's Rings, and he's quite happy to trade now with Kevin.
Yeah, and as you talked about earlier, what can Millenium do if they don't actually burst down the first target? Because that's what they need to get the reset onto someone like Araneae. And again, the fact they are falling behind, the fact that now Insec has an Engine Golem, we have early magic resist onto Renekton, it makes it harder and harder for them to pick the right targets. And they're actually going to rely on KT Bullets being out of position with one of the squishy targets. Because also we have Barrier, and a Fiend's onto Nidalee. She's going to be hard to kill as well. Spell Shield onto Sivir. It's going to be very hard for them to pick the target, and that might actually mean that they can't really teamfight.
Well, objective control still in KT Bullet's favor. They come straight back around for that dragon. Araneae is going to put the stealth. He's going to jump in for this one, but KT have already pulled that. That's his ultimate wasted and used. Gonna have to back away. Well played by KT Bullets once again.
And we also see Leopard moving all the way from top lane down to mid as soon as they start the dragon. If the fight should have happened, he would have been there to join. And that's what he can do because he's constantly pushing out the top lane. So Kevin is forced to stay and farm while he can rotate. And now KT Bullets, they might be able to take up the turret.
We've seen so many times those spears, they create opportunities for teams. And they're continuing to come through. Once it catches onto someone, it effectively means that siege is over and they will take the tower, and that's exactly what's going to happen here.
And it only gets worse the longer you go into the game. When there's a death cap, when there's a void staff, it's going to be even better than the spear. You more or less have to recall, get home guard boots before you can set something up. But Kerp coming in from the side.
They're going straight in towards this one. Kerp, though, is going to get caught out. The crescendo is used, but purely defensively. Have they got the damage for score? Will he go down? No, he's safe. And now they're going to turn this one back around. Insec, he gets caught out. Glitterlance comes in. Built over Peacemaker from Creaton. Gets the kill. It's a 1-for-1 trade because Araneae went down at the start.
So they do get one kill. Yeah, Araneae, he got caught by a spear, so he actually died. Meanwhile, though, Leopard was left in the top lane, pushing down to the turret, getting some good damage onto it. And now Nidalee coming around as well. Let's see what they can do because Kevin, he might be dived here.
They've got the stun on towards him. The spear lands, and they're just like that. KT Bullets just wreck Lulu.
Instantly good decision making here. They spot Kevin moving up too close to Renekton, gets in with the stun. Fast kill for them. Very nice play, and even though there was a kill onto Millenium, they still lose out on the trade.
Kerp not managing to land on towards it there, putting the damage back on Ryu. The death sentence being thrown out purely defensively, and again the spear thrown out. Oh, Araneae just jumping on towards him. It hasn't got the resets, hasn't got close enough, didn't even land the snow. Trying to use anything to get close to Nidalee, but Nidalee's they're tough to catch.
Tough to catch, have the barrier, and also the damage onto Araneae at this point is not very high. Involved is E, so he won't get any additional damage there, and at the same time, he doesn't even have Elder Lizard yet.
Well, as the base is flowing here in the Intel Extreme Masters, we are in game 2, and the KT Bullets, well, as expected, are looking strong coming into this game, starting to slowly close out the objectives. They've taken all 3 of those outer turrets, and it's the inner turrets they're focusing on next. That top lane's already been pressured pretty heavily, and Insec, he's everywhere right now, always pressuring that jungle. Araneae's been trying to counter him as much as he can, and at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a fight for the blue.
And if they can actually manage to get someone Araneae to have to smite the blue so Kerp doesn't pick it up, it's very good for them. They seem though they're just going in. Everyone from the team is here. Leopard a little bit far away, but he can join in very fast. Takes an easy blue buff, and KT Bullets, they're in full control at the moment. Let's see if they can actually close out the game then.
Kerp just gonna again dash away. KT Bullets rotating perfectly. 5 members all straight down here. And again, Millenium, they have to give up the turret. Their spears continue to throw forward, and KT Bullets, they're chasing this one. They might continue pushing.
And every single spear signals that Millenium have to delay fighting. But if they wait for too long, the tower will go down. They're going in!
The crescendo goes down, but is it enough? No damage really following up on that one, and KT Bullets happily just disengage, and Millenium not able to lay down anything onto the bullets.
So, pretty much the main engage for Millenium is now gone. The crescendo, the flash crescendo actually from Sona is away. Kerp, he might be caught out here, wise enough, dashes over the wall. So now KT Bullets can just stay here, land the spears, and try and hit on turn. They're going again.
Siege minion is there. Wild Growth being thrown onto Araneae as he jumps in. Kerp completely situated, trying to run away from this one. Jukes nicely there. Does manage to get away from Insec, but again, not really any damage laid down. They're trying their best to pick someone off, but they are not focused. And just like that, the spear comes through, following the stun of Leopard, and Kerp was just removed from the map.
And that was a desperate call by Millenium. When they don't have Sona ultimate, you don't want to engage with Kha'Zix. You want to jump in when people are low so you can get the reset. But they were forced to do something. So Araneae, he jumped in, got the wild growth from Kevin to try and knock some people up and start the fight. But it was too easy for KT Bullets to just disengage. And then they actually caught out Kerp with a very nice stun from Insec and just managed to kill him instantly.
And Millenium are in danger of being wrecked here. This is a 18-minute inhibitor they're pushing for. They didn't quite finish it off. The disengage once again, but they've already taken the turret down, and Millenium are in real trouble now. This is a confident start from the KT Bullets.
Very good start. They're using the combo perfectly. As soon as they got the early lead, they just used Nidalee, and Kerp, he's going in again.
He's going to go in, but what on earth for? Because they're going to try and follow through. Araneae doesn't get the reset. He can't jump out because Leopard survives once again. And you do have to question some of the picks from Millenium. This has not worked in their favor at all.
But Millenium have to try something. That's what they're doing here. They just want to try and get a kill, but because they're so far behind already, they don't have the damage they need. They can't pick up these kills. Only Elder Lizard and 2 longswords onto Kha'Zix give you no damage onto a Renekton. They're so tanky already. So Millenium, while it looks more or less bad that they're constantly jumping in, it's actually the only thing they can do with this combo at the moment.
It is a fully engaged comp, and that's, like you say, what they need to do, but the fact that they don't get the kills, it's a little too late, it seems, or it certainly feels that way. They get themselves the mid-turret, which is a big bonus, but look at Jree, he's caught out. Insec going aggressive and start to pile down the pressure. Creaton really unable to help defend his support there.
And let's see what KTB's plan is now. They can either go towards the Baron, ward it up, take it fairly easily against this Millenium, force them to come out the base to fight them, or they can just group up once again, go down to either the open inhibitor, or just go down to the next turret, start landing spears, and just do the same siege we just saw before.
Yeah, the rotate is on. All of KT Bullets making their way towards his bottom inner turret. Araneae is forced to back away. Millenium completely out of position. Kerp continuing to push that top lane, which means, well, KT Bullets are going to pretty much be giving this one for free.
There's nothing they can really do because there's no flash onto Jree. He's the main engage. Zona is the main engage here, unless you have Kerp jumping in from the side, but KT Bullets have good vision around, not giving Kerp any chance to do what he wants, and this is just a very easy turret for them.
And Leopard, he's not even needed for this one. He started coming down, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to take that middle turret myself. I'm just going to keep that pressure on. The rest of KT Bullets are pushing on towards the bottom inhibitor turret. Millenium are floundering right now. They're trying to find out, they're trying to pick someone off, but KT Bullets have them completely at their disposal and just rotating around, taking anything they please.
And everything for KT Bullets now is working. Every single rotation they do, they get a turret, they get a dragon, they get something every single time, so they just extend the lead. And a few times Millenium actually tried to fight. It didn't work for them. KT Bullets disengaged very beautifully and just turned it around in the end.
Continuing to keep that pressure going. You can see Mafa just waiting to try and land one of those hooks. He wants to pull someone in. The spears keep on throwing through. There's another one rattling through. Sooner or later they do land and it forces someone back to that fountain. And KT Bullets, well, they're going to get aggressive upon, but that on the hunt being used by Score to quickly turn it around. The aggression back on towards Kerp. He has to get away from there. And look how quick they could disengage from that one. That's the middle turret down. It's now 7 turrets to 2.
Once again, Sivir pops her ultimate when the fight is about to start. But again, it's Araneae jumping in first because there's no flash onto Zona. Jree can't engage, so Araneae have to do it, and it doesn't work with Kha'Zix. That's not what he's good at. Then you need to pick Vi. Then you need to pick something like a Jarvan to go in and start the fight. Meanwhile, Sivir ultimate really been crucial for KT Bullets because it meant that every time they didn't want to fight, popped it in this case and going in here.
Inhibitor turret goes down, Crescendo comes across, but it only catches 2 members, and KT Bullets are just running through the Millenium team. We're only at the 21-minute mark, and this game is already looking over. The death sentence land, and Kevin goes down. That Jree top lane certainly has not worked out for him. So often we see him playing tanky champions, but this time around, KT Bullets are confident they have this game in the bag.
And they're simply just so far ahead. That combo is so good in these fights. Whenever Millenium can't get anyone low, they can never do anything. So KT Bullets looking very strong.
Nexus turret is going to go down. Will the second one follow? KT Bullets continuing to keep the pressure on. Spear on Jree. Insec sinks those fangs in and finishes the job. Second Nexus turret is down. We're not even 22 minutes into this game, ladies and gentlemen, and KT Bullets have turned up to win this tournament. They are looking the real deal. Will they finish it off this time around? I'm not sure. Millenium are trying to keep them at bay, but they are just so strong. Millenium can't get close. Oh, the spear.
They will actually try and go for this one. Ryu, he's coming down here towards him. Can they get the Nexus, or will we have to delay the game?
They're just going to go in there. They're just playing. They're toying with their prey right now. Creaton again taking damage. He's going to throw that spear back out once again. Throws it on the hunt down. Now they're going to finish the game. We do see Araneae. They're desperate. They want to get something, but they can't. KT Bullets are just toying with them. It's like a cat with a mouse. And the Bullets are in dominant form. They're going to go through and face Invictus Gaming in the winner bracket. Meanwhile, it's Millenium versus Fnatic in the loser bracket.